Hello everyone. In this presentation, no taking, recording, and just play alone, I want to share with you some reflections I have on researching and documenting music heritage based on my own fieldwork experience as an anthropology student on the island of Kihnu in Estonia. In Estonia, very often one can find and hear people referring themselves as a singing nation. The country has one of the largest mature choir events in the world called Laulupidu, which is a masterpiece of the oral and intangible heritage of humanity, and has been held every 5 years since 1869. The 27th Laulupidu just took place in the summer earlier this year, celebrating its 150 years anniversary. Every year, in different seasons, there are a lot of music festivals across different regions in the country where traditional folk music can be easily found or even being the main music style on stage. Fiondi folk, Setu folk, Hiyu folk, to name a few. With the interest of how the diverse landscapes of music heritage are being preserved and kept alive in Estonia, I started searching and following flows of traditional folk music around the country, in the city and in the forest, in festivals and in clubs, in museums and in archives, on the internet and on the street. And in no time after my search journey set off, I was led to the small island of Kihnu in the Gulf of Riga. Although small in scale, with a population of 701, an area of 16.9 kilometers squares in the record of 2019. Kihnu as a cultural space was one of the first two heritage elements of the country being listed by UNESCO in 2003, with the National Song Festival Laulupidu we just talked about as part of the Baltic Song and Dawn celebrations being another. While many islands in the country are gradually becoming the holiday hometowns where people only go back for visits occasionally, Kihnu is increasingly known as a living example of the disappearing Estonian traditional culture with its own rich and unique traditions and some old and even odd costumes. If one goes around the island today, among the breathtaking landscape of sea and forest, the tranquil village and farming field, he or she can still glimpse on the traditional lifestyle of Kihnu people, with men going to the sea hunting seals or fishing, while women running around the island farming and keeping the household, as well as the numerous songs, games, dance, ceremonies, and handicraft skills. With singing as an integral part of different collective folk life and religious activities and celebrations, and also in a mix with different influence brought to the island by seamen, the musical repertoire of the Kihnu Islanders includes runic or Kalevala metric songs originating from pre-Christian time, rhyme songs and folk tunes around the Botofinic area with the local adoptions and recreations. Reached to the Kihnu melody in the summertime in 2019, I was quickly attracted by and also intensively immersed into Kihnu's music heritage through not only the rich collections of documents and archive recordings, but also the plentiful occasions and contexts on the island where Kihnu music traditions are actively alive. Living on the island and getting to know more Kihnu people, I was gradually led to hear and learn songs and tunes and to see how music is also involved in different cultural traditions and current uses on the island. From the spectrum of domestic life to social gatherings within the community, to performance and festivals that are also open or even specifically aimed for visitors. Music heritage is more than a thing, here I quote Smith, a final product of musical work according to Sergen, An unchangeable series of notes and lyrics are collected into or preserved as archive here in Kihnu. It is a reverberating process of producing and reproducing in a living mode of sharing, transmitting, and hence constantly open to selections and adoptions, changes, and recreations. It is through these selections, changes, and recreations that I'm trying to see how music heritage is alive around people, have been and keep being meaningful for the people, being influenced by, while also reshaping people and their relationship with each other within the community and inseparably with different kinds of outsider, which of course also includes me. When music is alive, like Estonian linguistic folklorists and ethnographers who has been searching, collecting, and studying poetic and musical folk expressions in the remote rural area for over 100 years, I try to document Kihnu music traditions by taking few notes on what I hear and see and making photos and audio recordings when I'm allowed it. As some local jokes with me sometimes now, I am the strange, nerdy Chinese girl who comes to a party with pens and pencil. When people are singing, playing feathers and harmonicas, listening and dancing, my hands are busy with my pens and notebook, recorders and camera, trying to catch and record my encounters and experience on the island as much as possible during the limited time I can spend there. Tracing everyday life on Kihnu, I'm trying to capture and document as detailed as possible whenever traditional music emerges and comes alive, similarly or differently. Then the questions follows, what details are there? How can I and how much do I really capture from what I see and hear? How can I achieve a better understanding of what I capture and experience? And eventually, what is the better way to nail down the as rich as possible experience I can have? Documenting and archiving has been seen as one crucial measure for safeguarding and celebrating intangible cultural heritage, finding various forms of usage of traditional music and a rich variety of creations, even for the same one piece of song or tunes on the island. I was excitedly motivated by the ethnographer instinct of recording and documenting. I was, however, also in the meanwhile, increasingly caught up by the anxiety of missing the moments when music was on, and of not recording fast and comprehensive enough on what was happening, until one day a Kihnu friend stopped me. Come join us, Siyun. Taking my hands off my pens and camera, already getting some red color in her cheek from the dancing, pulled me into the dancing circle. But thank you. But I need to do my work. Come on, don't spoil the fun. It's a party. You want to learn how Kihnu people live? You see any Kihnu people writing or filming here now? But I don't know how to dance. You have heard the song and seen us dance many times, but that's different. It's very simple. You know the songs already, so now just follow me and you will learn fast. Then, without any recordings and documents, I had one of the most enlightening and rewarding fieldwork experience. Neither were there many conversations throughout the rest of the night until the very end of the party, but the experience was richly charged with embodied knowledge and skills, senses and emotions, as well as interaction between music and people as much as between people. First of all, my scopes of attentions and points of focus were switched and opened anew. When I was an observer and recorder, I usually tried to pull away and see and record from a distance so that I would not be on people's way and could have as much in the camera frame as possible. Different from that this time, I got pulled in and hence surrounded by people moving around and immersed in music in a completely different way. More than just listening and following the music piece as a whole and in a smooth flow, I was in music in a way that I needed to find the music from a distance and among different sounds. I also need to make matches with steps, move and spin, and keep the right beats so to be in the same pace with other dancers. At the moment being in the music, I felt with my full body being involved and getting evolved with music. My heart was beating, my feet were stepping, and my hands were clapping according to music. I felt and smelled the wind from the sea, people's breeze, and the hot air surrounding the whole dancing ground. All the more so, following M's steps and trying to finish dance with all people around, I start to pick up those signs and gestures and interaction between people. It was not through talking, but from M's grips and moves as a lead that I learned how to follow the music. Like in most folk dance and dancing events, whether the routine being a group dance or not, people dance with their partners while also with the others. And even with musicians and people outside of the ground, the audience, the spectators. While dancing with M, I was also moving accordingly with other peers. I got a sense of what to do, where to move, and people's welcoming acceptance and joyful engagement with me from their smiles, their eye signs, subtle changes in their steps, and some gestures. Like what M said to me, you know what to do automatically when you are in, and then you enjoy. And it was at that moment when I was able to dance with instead of after the music, and M, when my body can respond automatically, singing and dancing along in the exact same beat and space with the musicians and dancers. I started to sense the joy instead of merely seeing it and being influenced by the people. I started to laugh and make extra moves like what I had seen before when some musicians drop a note or added a fermata, when some dancers make a double speed spin or initiate a group shoto. At the musical moments, much more happen besides the dance and the party as well. Can be seen quite often in Kihnu gathering or parties. There are people, at least partly in their traditional costumes, with their families or friends, chatting, drinking, laughing, hugging, knitting, playing around, and gaming. With the music and the momentary atmosphere it creates and holds up, people were communicating, sharing life, bonding emotions, and creating memories with each other in multiple forms, linguistically and bodily. For me, losing the full picture view as an observing and recording field worker and transcending the boundary between the Kihnu people and me as an outsider, I was led to an underwater side of the music heritage iceberg. Music is much more than just the sound made and captured by our body or by certain instrument or machine. Music is also relevant to the emotion that is driven from the productions of, the appreciation of, and the participations in a performance. Asking the questions, what is really going on there? Small's concept of musicking extends the spectrum of music from musical pieces to the people doing music, and includes not only the people who make the music, but the full range of people to take part in the musical world in any capacity, whether they're performing, by listening, by rehearsing, or practicing by providing material for a performance, which is also called composing, or by dancing. Taking small questions and the idea of approaching the musical world as a human encounter and a social actions to my own experience with Kihnu traditional music in that party night. What I was luckily invited to and share with is one operating zone where Kihnu people taking part in and keeping their music, their traditions, cultures alive as a community. Taking part in this musical world not only by making notes and recordings, but also by engaging bodily and sensually, I came to realize the limitation of my earlier focus of documenting and the assumptions of seeing everything by having everything captured in the lens. Before, I was there in different concerts and performances, but I was also not entirely there. Standing aside, listening, seeing, and recording people musicking is different from sharing the moment as one inside the circle. Noting down the moment when people laughing and playing with their skills does not mean understanding the music heritage and musical world where people find enjoying togetherness and other significances they want to preserve the heritage for, at least in the same level. Although our captivations and understandings of what is really going on there are always limited and situated, by not being a documenting field worker for a moment, I think I have achieved a deeper grip on the music I heard and have gained more insights of why music heritage matters for the Kihnu community from the past, at the present, and in the future. Like how Am so insightfully said to me after the party, now you know Kihnu music and why I love Kihnu so much. Joining the party has changed my experience with the music and also my relationship with the locals. It's nice to have people from different places coming, seeing, and filming Kihnu. It's really great that you are doing research about our music heritage as well. But many people don't really get or care what we are doing and why we like keeping our lives in such traditional old ways. We don't like people like those. M's friendly invitation in this case also sends a thought-provoking message on how our ways of approaching and documenting cultural heritage might be received by the people we work with and what influences might be caused upon them. Our willingness to learn, join, and do what people do, carrying not only the music heritage but also the people musicking, particularly when we first start approaching, can perhaps be a more respectful way to the people and community owning, practicing, and sharing the heritage. To extend our scope of noticing and capturing what is really going on and to eventually reach a richer and deeper level of thick descriptions, perhaps for us as ethnographers and scholars from different disciplines doing fieldwork on cultural heritage, before note-taking, making records, so impulsively engrossing ourselves with documenting the heritage thing, we can perhaps first try joining people's hand, going to the party, playing and dancing alone. And that will be all of my presentation for now. Thank you.